Yo, what's up guys? So today we're going to be showcasing off a insect danger lockdown deck where the goal is to, of course, lock your opponent out of being able to special summon, which pretty much gives you a win in Yu-Gi-Oh! But anyways, we're utilizing the Goki engine as well as, not the, you know, the Gokis that most people use. We're talking about like the Goki Pole, the Goki Boar, that engine. But anyways, what it really comes down to is being able to shut down the mechanic of special summoning after you, of course, special summon a bunch of times. So what you're going to be doing a lot of times in this deck is using the Resonance Insect to not only search out a card, but also if this card is banished, you get to send another insect monster to the graveyard. So that's going to fuel up your graveyard for, of course, Doomdozer to be your rank 8 player here. And what he's going to be able to do is give you access to rank 8s, and there's a lot of really good rank 8s in Yu-Gi-Oh! In addition to that, you also have the Inzektor Picofalenia, which will let you discard a card. You can also Foolish, which is what you guys saw over here, the Glow Up Bulb, and that will allow you to go into a Trade Beast because they happen to be Earth. But the main star player, and the reason why that this deck is more of a lockdown deck, is because it gives you consistency to go for Scary Moth. If you can make Scary Moth, plus have just like any other like monster, it doesn't have to be specifically this, but there can be a lot of other cards. You can basically game your opponent because they can't like get rid of Scary Moth, because Scary Moth, well, he has that effect where each player can only special summon a monster once per turn. But obviously, you special summon a bunch of times, and then you just say, well, okay, sorry, no more special summon, except for once. But in this case, we also have Impermanence, so at that point, you're pretty much looking at like a GG. But you're not always going to be able to go for a first turn Trade Beast. But again, Scary Moth is kind of the key card that you want to try to prioritize, because, well, that's the consistent card that you can throw out. Because this card, the Resonance Insect, if it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to add a level 5 or higher insect monster from your deck to your hand. So that can be Doomdozer. A lot of times you'll notice in this deck you have really easy OTK potential. That just comes down to this card just being so free and just giving you extra pluses. And then you also have Multiplication of Ants, so basically that gets rid of one of your monsters. Lets you search out, of course, if you're using the Resonance Insect, and then you can go ahead and start going to link plays, and obviously Picofalenia is pretty good. Lets you discard a card, and then you are able to equip the Goki Pole, and then Goki Pole, once that's sent to the grave, you get to basically special summon a normal monster from your deck, and that's going to allow you to go right into Yugioh for pretty much for free. And then again, Resonance Insect is going to give you that search of that Scary Moth, and then we have, of course, Yugioh's effect, and like cycle some cards. So he's going to go ahead and throw down the double Doomdozer, and then again, just go for a rank 8 plus having this. This is just extra, but majority of the time with this deck, it'll be very consistent to, again, make a rank 8, whether you want to negate a monster effect or a spell effect, and then just follow up with Scary Moth, and you should be good. Now, he doesn't have too much attack. Let's go ahead and watch the last duel over here, and then I'll give you guys the deck profile, and you guys can give me your thoughts on this, because I haven't seen like a danger insect deck. Now, this duel is kind of interesting. This is more something that I didn't know that would actually happen in this game. So it really comes down to Eater of Millions and number 38. So we have the Multiplication of Ants, and of course we have the Galaxy Worm, which is basically like a tour guide for them. So he's going to go ahead and shuffle and draw, courtesy of Picofalenia. So you target 3 insects in graveyard, shuffle them, and then draw 1 card. Like a mini pot of Avarice here. Then we'll go ahead and make some Link Spider, and then we're going to go ahead and make Astrum, which is a pretty decent card, but this time we didn't actually go for the Scary Moth. So he goes ahead and makes double Eater of Millions, attacks the Astrum, but number 38 actually forces them to actually perform damage calculations. So I thought that was kind of interesting. That's something I didn't know. So basically they were trying to, of course, go for Astrum, because if it's Link Summon, your opponent can't target it with card effects, and then also your opponent's monsters can't target other monsters for attacks. So they're forced to attack this, but then he's going to redirect the attack to number 38, and number 38 just forces them to go to damage calc, so the Eater of Millions effects won't even be activated. So that was a little bit more interesting. But again, a lot of times it's just going to be the same bread and butter play. But shoutouts to Euros for hooking me up with these plays, because I think this is kind of different. I have covered insects a few months ago. It was a more link-oriented build, but this one I think has a little bit of potential, because again, if you can go turn 1 and then Scary Moth your opponent, you're going to scare them away. They're just going to go ahead and be like, okay, I can't special summon. I mean, you can special summon once. I guess, unless you're playing against Time Lords, like most decks have to special summon multiple times. They got to go for the extra deck cards. It pretty much locks them out. But again, you have a lot more consistency with the dangers in this build. But anyways, let's go ahead and hop into the deck profile. If you guys have suggestions, would love to hear them in the comment section below, because insects, people just aren't talking about them too much. But I think that they're not bad. Again, Scary Moth, the consistency is real with being able to search out this card. But anyways, 3 copies of Goki Boar, and we have 3 copies of Doomdozer, 3 copies of the Danger Nessie, 1 copy of Scary Moth, because again, you can search it out really easy. And then we have Aztec Pede, we've got 3 copies of that. Then we have 3 copies of Mothman, 2 copies of the Resonance Insect, we have the Rescue Rabbit, 3 copies of Galaxy Worm, 2 copies of Goki Pole, 3 copies of the Jackalope, 1 copy of Glowpole. Then we have 3 copies of Multiplication of Ants. Then we have the Foolish Reborn, 3 copies of Called by the Grave. We have 1 Super Cocoon of Evolution. Didn't really get to talk much about this card, but Tribute Insect from either field, equip one of the equip card, which obviously is Piccolonius effect. But then you get to summon an insect monster from your deck, ignoring its summoning condition, and then during your main phase, you get to banish this card from your graveyard, target an insect monster in graveyard, shuffle into the deck, and then draw a card. So it basically replenishes itself after, of course, you get out that like boss insect monster. Next up, we have DDR and 2 copies of the Impermanence. For the extra deck, the important cards are going to be the Naturia Beast, number 38, number 90, and then Ashram is really great, but it's not required for every combo. But Suryuja is great, Summon Sorcerer is also really great, and the Piccolonius. These are the main cards that I would say that you like really need to have in the deck. But the other optional cards, I would say these are up for like debate on like I'd say this card is just so good. I would require most people to have this if they can make it. But the other cards kind of minor, but we have number 41. We have Externite. You've got the Digital Bud. This archetype just completely flopped, man. I haven't seen anyone play. I played it like 1 time. And that was over, and no one really cared too much about that deck. But then we got the Nightmare Unicorn, Phoenix, and Cerberus, which I think they're in most Link decks, but I think you can get away with swapping these out for other things if you perhaps don't have some of these cards, or if you just want to mix it up. But anyways, yeah, there it is, guys, the Danger Insect Lockdown variant with Scary Moth. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more Yu-Gi-Oh content. And shoutouts once again to my boy Euros for hooking me up with the plays. If you guys got any cool replays and you want to share them, I like seeing new stuff, man. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Peace out. Have a good one. I'm signing out.